If you've been scrolling through endless monitor specs, watching video after video trying to decide whether two 28-inch screens are worth the desk space, you're probably feeling the same hesitation most of us hit when a dual monitor bundle pops up on Amazon. You wonder if the extra screen will actually boost your workflow or just end up as an expensive paperweight. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this review, I'm going to break down the Samsung UR55 28-inch 4K ViewFinity bundle the way a real buyer would, looking at how it fits into a typical home office, what kind of tasks it shines on, and where it might fall short. First off, the biggest question most people ask is, do I need two 28-inch 4K panels, or would a single larger screen do the job? The UR55 bundle gives you two identical monitors, each with a 38402160 IPS panel and almost invisible bezels. That borderless design isn't just a marketing buzzword, it actually lets you drag a spreadsheet across both screens without that distracting black line in the middle. If you spend a lot of time with multiple windows open, think email on the left, a web browser in the middle, and a chat app on the right, the seamless real estate can feel like a productivity multiplier. In my own testing, the ability to keep a Zoom call on the far right while editing a document on the left meant I never had to Alt-Tab, which saved a few seconds each time and reduced eye strain from constantly refocusing. The 4K resolution is another practical win. At 28 inches, you get about 157 pixels per inch, which is sharp enough that text looks crisp and UI elements stay comfortably sized. For anyone who works with detailed spreadsheets, design mockups, or code, the extra pixel density lets you see more rows or lines without cramming the font down to unreadable sizes. The IPS technology also guarantees consistent colors and viewing angles, so if you're sharing your screen with a colleague across the room, the image won't wash out when viewed from the side. Now, let's talk connectivity, because that's where a lot of buyers trip up. Each UR55 comes with a DisplayPort 1.2, an HDMI 2.0, and a USB hub that includes a USB-C downstream port and a few USB-A downstream ports. The inclusion of a USB hub is a subtle but handy feature. You can plug a webcam, a mouse, or a keyboard directly into the monitor and keep your desk tidy. I set up a dual monitor workstation where my laptop plugs into one monitor via HDMI, while the other monitor handles a secondary display via DisplayPort. The USB-C port on the monitor can also charge a phone, which means fewer cords cluttering the desk. In real-world use, the "stay connected with ease" claim translates into a cleaner workspace and fewer cable swaps when you switch between laptop and desktop. On the downside, the bundle does come with a few trade-offs you need to be aware of before you click Add to Cart. First, the refresh rate is locked at 60 Hz. For most office tasks, video streaming, and casual gaming, that's fine, but if you're a competitive gamer who relies on high frame rates, you'll notice the motion blur compared to a 144 Hz panel. The response time is also typical for an IPS display, around 5 milliseconds. Greater gray, so fast-paced action scenes won't be as crisp as you'd get on a TN panel designed for gaming. The monitor does support HDR10, but the peak brightness tops out at roughly 250 nits, which means the HDR effect is modest at best. In everyday use, you won't miss it, but it's something to keep in mind if you're buying a monitor primarily for media consumption. Ergonomics is another practical consideration. The stand that comes with the UR55 is a simple tilt-only design. There's no height adjustment, swivel, or pivot. If you already have a monitor arm, you can mount the UR55 on it, but out of the box you'll be limited to a fixed height. For a home office where you want the top of the screen at eye level, you may need to buy a separate riser or arm. That extra cost can eat into the value proposition of the bundle, especially if you're on a tight budget. Speaking of price, the two-monitor package lands in the mid-range segment, cheaper than buying two high-end professional displays, yet more expensive than a single 27-inch 1080p monitor. The real value comes from the combination of 4K resolution, ultra-thin bezels, and the built-in USB hub across two screens. If you were planning to buy a single 4K monitor anyway, the bundle gives you double the screen real estate for a relatively modest premium. The 4.6-star rating from over 700 reviewers suggests that most owners feel they got what they paid for, which aligns with the practical strengths we've talked about. So, who should hit the buy button? The answer is anyone who spends a lot of time juggling multiple applications: writers, analysts, remote workers, content creators who need reference footage alongside a timeline, or even students who like to keep research material open while taking